Are you also having difficulty reaching your customers? Just like Arthur and his agents who must juggle between inbound requests and a prospecting file to contact. Yes, but today, no one wants to respond anymore. The tightening of regulations has not helped. Add to that the challenges of reiteration and resolution at first contact. It's a lot to manage for Arthur and his team. The result: its agents are discouraged, its customers angry, and the company's KPIs in the red. The dream for Arthur and his clients? Identified contacts distributed directly to their preferred advisor, shared teams that can simply manage inbound and outbound within the same ergonomic interface, intelligently worked call files. Thanks to Nixxis, comply with regulations, perform well in your KPIs, and guarantee an exceptional customer experience.
Hello everyone. Thank you for being with us today for this special live. So this webinar will be a continuation of the last webinar that we carried out in French on the 3rd of July. So this one will be exclusively in English. So if you want to see the French version, I highly recommend that you go on our LinkedIn page. Just by scrolling down, you will see the replay. Or also on our YouTube page, you'll see the replay. By the way, my name is Andrew. I'm the Marketing and Communication Manager of Nixxis France. I'll be your host today for this special live. If you don't know Nixxis yet, as you have just seen the little introduction before, Nixxis is a Belgian company. We help advisors in customer services and call centers to exchange, to discuss, and to respond to answers the customers' needs. So we have been developing a lot of softwares, especially so they can answer really nicely to customers. And recently, we have developed an AI solution, so-called Dialogue.ai, which help people in the call centers to benefit from the AI and to respond more fluently, more precisely to customers' needs. And by developing this software, we've been questioning ourselves about the future of the role of the advisors in contact centers, but also about the future of customer experience. And to carry out this webinar, I will be accompanied today by Luc Jacobs, so the CEO of Nixxis. Hello, Luc.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Andrew. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
Great. I mean, it's July, August, so we're nearly tasting the holidays. So it's great to be in Belgium today.
Totally. Well, Luc, I pass you the mic for the next 30 minutes. If you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to write them down in the comment section so we can see them at the end of the webinar. Well, Luc, I'll leave it to you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. So welcome everybody. Welcome on our one of the latest webinar before the holidays. Definitely, I mean, we wanted to talk to you about what is happening in the customer experience world in not only today, but what's going to happen in the next 18 to 24 months. My idea definitely is to try to walk you through where we've been, where I think we're going, and definitely how Nixxis can help you to get there. CX 2026, I guess most of you have maybe been attracted by to say, okay, what's going to happen within 24 months, but we can definitely say that AI and the latest version of deep learning called large language model is going to revolutionize the customer experience in general, but definitely the contact center in particular. So that is my idea there. I wanted to start with my own customer experience. I was born in 66, so I was like 14 years old in 1980. In 1980, there was a very desirable stuff that everybody needed to have was a skateboard. Okay, I guess you remember. So that was like basically coming from the US. You had a number of very famous brands at that time. And for about 4 to 5 years, I've been passing that shop, that skate shop, just looking through the window and once in a while getting in when I was like 14, 15 years old, no money in your pocket, but a lot of ideas. And I basically discussed with the guy behind the board, and I was asking him, what is the best brand? Is it difficult to handle, things like that. So my parents wouldn't pay me, give me any money for a skateboard. So I had to save it through my summer jobs, and I was able to pay one. And 3 or 4 years, the guy was still very kind. In the beginning, it was a bit of a problem to see all those young guys coming in with no money, just looking at the boards. But my customer experience, I would say, was very linear. I had a number, my attention was attracted by the window, the desire burning into me because I wanted to have absolutely a skateboard. I was interested. At some point, I got the money, got in, bought it. And basically then the guy was so nice that he was also giving me a few lessons, how to turn, how to do a number of things with the skateboard. And this is where I would say where this was the classical, quite linear experience, right? The quite linear experience that you get in the 80s, a bit of marketing communication, and the product was sold. I was really going to say that at that time, I think we're really like into a demand economy. Okay, so it's basically the people were asking for everything. We're just coming out of the financial crisis. It was quite an easy way. And then you have something that happens today. I don't know if you guys have already been going through the Amazon Go shops. This is a picture of an Amazon Go. Nobody's inside, only the ceiling is stuffed with cameras, trying to see what you're doing. If you're taking any kind of food or bottles or anything like that, there is only one security guard at the entrance, and you can go out with anything that you've taken there without meeting anybody, just by sliding your iPhone on those portics that you see there. So that's also a very strange experience, right? So that's something which I'm always questioning myself, what's the fun of going into there to buy anything? And then you had this, and this is something that basically appeared in April 24, so about like 2 months ago. Some of you might have seen that. It's a fried chicken chain which is called Sansan in New York. And instead of getting just like, these kind of standard sales booths, automated sales booths to get your orders to get fried chicken, they have basically welcoming hostesses which are based in the Philippines. So the shop is in New York, and if you want to order anything, you have a girl which is sitting in the Philippines. Let me remind you that there is a 6 hours difference between New York and the Philippines, and that means when you order fried chicken at 8 o'clock in the evening in New York, then it's 2 o'clock in the morning in the Philippines. So it's true that the girl is like in the comfort of her living room, but it's 2 o'clock in the morning, right? And she has to take your orders that she's then sending to the kitchen. Then you have a counter where you can pick it up. Of course, the good thing about this is that, this famous upsell, cross-sell stuff that you're normally also getting when you face a real human saying, hey, did you know that for an extra $1, you will get an ice cream on top of that? Are you interested? Yes or no? So the whole idea there is that this is a way also to get a customer experience through humans, but also through definitely a screen. And this is a choice for you to make. And it happens that this is something which is actually exploding in the world. When we look actually at the Philippines, because this is a very good example, that Philippines is the planet for BPOs. Of the 28 million people working in the BPO world, in the contact center world worldwide, about 1.5 to 2 million are working in the Philippines. The biggest one being India for customer support. But something that I saw the Philippines that, hey, how is the economy going? And you see that these guys, they had, of course, a little dip at the COVID years, but it's the red line there. And you can see that actually the Philippines is growing faster than a lot of other economies, including China, including other APAC economies. And in Philippines doesn't have any oils. They have a bit of tourists, but not a lot. Very nice country, by the way. You should go there. But they're basically exporting services. And I said, what kind of services can you export? And this is where we go into the next interesting graph. I was looking at what's happening in terms of jobs, employment in those developing economies when we talk about services. And you get these kind of graph, and this is quite strange. Just join me on that. The dark blue line that you see there is China manufacturing jobs. You would say that in the last, 1990? So in the last 35 years, everything around me is coming from China, right? About 70 to 80% of whatever you have around you has come from China in one way or another. The rest is done in the rest of the world, right? And we talk about like a quite stable amount of people which is doing that, about 150, 170 million people, which are working in manufacturing in China, okay, making goods that are exported all over the world. But that number has been pretty stable for the last 35 years. So what has happened is that actually those factories which are building stuff have been improved in terms of technology, in terms of processes, in terms of productivity, and it's still the same 170 million people making the stuff, okay? But in those local economies, see what happens with non-tradable services, Okay, it's growing like hell. It started at around like 300 million in the 90s. Today we are close to 700 million people, even more than that in the non-tradable services. What are non-tradable services? Very simple to understand. These are things that you cannot export itself. For example, restaurant, real estate, all these kind of things you can't export. But that means that the economy, which is stale in terms of jobs for employment, has an incredible amount of services on top. And those incredible amount of services have also made so that the tradable services have exploded. Because if you look at the dark red line, it starts at around like 30 to 40 million. And today there are more than 120 million people working in tradable, exportable services. It goes from the BPOs, it goes from finance, it goes from accounting, it goes from even medical services, right? Today you can go to Istanbul and you can come out at the Istanbul airport and you will see a lot of people with caps and plastic bags on their heads with fresh hair being grown under it. And that is also an exportable service. So I think that from those developing economies, we're going to see maybe more and more of those manufactured services, even if US, Europe, and a lot of Africa is getting industrialized. But I think that the service level is going to be quite incredible in terms of growth.
Luke, just a little question here, or maybe precision. When you say non-tradable services, like for example, if I understand well, house estate maybe, and tradable services would be like BPOs, bank, insurance, this kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So these are basically today's services that you can perform over the internet. Just like the welcome girl at the New York Fried Chicken shop there, she was doing it. And tomorrow you can have, I think it already exists, you can have like doctors, you can have like any kind of healthcare ladies taking care of you from a distance. She has the experience, she knows she can do stuff. So that is something that's going to happen more and more. So we get more and more pressure in our economies from developing economies to import services in our developed economies, in our getting old economies. And I think that is good. Okay, that is good for the business, and it's also good for the technology itself. Does it mean that we're going to have less people working in services in our economies? Maybe, but that's okay because we have economies getting old anyway. So with the young people can then work in different kind of jobs which are a bit more creative, for example. And this is another study which I find very interesting from the MIT Sloan School. They basically analyzed 5,000 contact center agents from Fortune 500 companies, and it showed that the use of AI, and this is for managing chat. So this is like a very basic stuff that you can do into a contact center, managing chat manually, 1, 2, or 3 in parallel. They basically realized that the least experienced agents are the ones who benefited the most from use of AI into their chat management. They were able to do 14% more chat per hour than the experienced one that were not assisted by AI. They also realized that the learning duration from 8 months went to 3 weeks in order to get a sufficient experience level. And they also saw that AI's impact on the most developed and experienced agent was negligible. And you can understand that because a very experienced agent knows exactly what it goes about in terms of problems, know how to answer things like that. It's really like the juniors. And you can also see a number of people maybe not sharing your culture coming from developing economies that would benefit from that AI add-ons in order to become more productive. Okay. So that's another vector pointing the same direction. So AI seems to be more interesting for people which have less experience or maybe coming from different culture. So when we talk about the new customer experience, as I said to you as introduction, we come from a traditional customer journey where we went from prospect to customer. I put here the famous AIDA. Everybody knows the AIDA model: attention, interest, desire, action. That was quite linear, right? It was a funnel, and that was going into one way, coming out on the other. Was quite linear, not a big deal there. That's more like 80s, 90s, beginning of 2000s, and today this is basically what you get, right? So the customer journey today is highly non-linear. That means that you still have those stages of I'm aware that they exist, I will consider them, I will purchase from them, I require to be a retention, and eventually I will become their own advocate. But then the different platform, medias, content, people, contact touch point that you will get is going to be very, very, very fragmented. And it's very difficult, even for big companies with a lot of people in the marketing department, to understand how is the message going through. We did such a very nice campaign on LinkedIn, Facebook, Google, blah, 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 about our brand. And then this happens in the news. One of our car breaks down. Take Tesla. This is typically a good example there. So they have their best sales guys of Tesla are the Tesla owners. I'm a Tesla owner. And it's true that when you're happy with the car, you tell to 10 people, and then you get a bit more people going through it. So this is basically, I think, the way that is going about the experience, non-linear. And what does it mean? If it's non-linear, it comes with new risks. Because, of course, through all those stages, what can happen is that you have some positive stuff. You're making a number of promises when you do the marketing messages, you do webinars like these and these kind of things. People say, okay, I'm interested. And then you get the real experience. And if the real experience is not aligned to what you promised in the marketing part, of course, people are going to be deceived. Okay. And this is where I think, by the way, you need to realize, you as a company, what is the kind of experience I want to give to my customers? Think about the experience itself. And then the second question, which is even more important, I think, how am I going to differentiate? How am I going to make sure? I'm a hotel somewhere on the coast, somewhere in France, for example. How I'm going to differentiate from the guy which has the hotel next to me, okay, in terms of customer experience. It could be the breakfast, could be the spa, could be whatever. But that is something that's going to make a difference. And if I differentiate, how I'm going to make sure I'm going to be successful, okay? There, definitely also the customer experience is key there. Now, in order to manage this, there is a trend that you all know, that we've been trying to put people into little segments. So it used to be you had, everybody has a red coupler and says, okay, you had to have 4 or 5 segments. On each other segment, you try to position yourself, blah, blah, blah. And then we say, okay, but today we have like segments which are based on needs and behaviors. We call them persona. And then you get these kind of analysis sheet that you can see there, right? You have Stephanie, and they try to you try to put Stephanie into some kind of micro segment, and then you're going to say, okay, that's her behavior, that's going to be a touch point, this is where we need to be successful. I think this is just an in-between, it's just an in-between evolution to make sure that human mind can still grab what is Stephanie. And then when we put Stephanie, we can identify to her, we can communicate to her, and so on. And if you say we're going to sell to 5 different personas, and these personas are going to be the ones to which we're going to tailor the messages, that's still human mind. But the human mind is not capable of selling to a segment of one, what I call mass customization of the customer experience, right? And that is something which I think the machines are very good at. Because if you say to the machine, please, if you go to ChatGPT and you ask the ChatGPT, please give me 1,000 versions of that same SMS reminder that's going to be customized to each of those specific customers, and here is the information in my CRM center, the thing can do that. Okay, so this is where you start to say, okay, if it's difficult to be managed by human, it's easy for machines. Should I still keep the humans into the loop there? And
another question, sorry, Luc.
Yes,
about the persona, it's like sort of personal observation. Actually, I've been the object of many cold emails from companies, and I think that these companies use the same tool, maybe with the basic same message. And I was questioning myself about the mass customization by getting, for example, the same message from 2 different companies. And from getting every time customized messages, won't you say that mass customization could be somehow a problem nowadays, because everything is customized, so nobody is different from the others,
Yeah, but mass customization means that you really need to adapt the message and the media and the time where you send it to the people who will receive it. One company which is very good at that, and we can all understand that, is a company called Amazon. If you go on Amazon, actually, everybody think when you go on the Amazon website, it's the same website that anybody else. No, this website is customized only for you, based on what you purchased before, what your friend purchased before, based on a number of stuff which are really key for for Amazon itself. So the whole idea there is that if you're able to do mass customization in an intelligent way, in a gradual way, it's better. You were talking about cold emails. I think cold emails today are one of the worst. You're not even sure the guy is interested. So why would you do mass cold emails that will, for 89%, end up into a spam box or will be classified as spam? So I think it's really bad. it's really bad. You shouldn't do that. I think artificial intelligence, which is very good right now to put into words a number of specifics for your customer, are the ones to be used. And this is where I think the next slide is even more interesting. This is a stat which is coming from Into the Minds, which is headed by my friend Pierre-Nicolas Schwab. So it's a marketing consultancy company in Belgium. And they've been doing, this is quite strange, right? They've been taking 30 complaints on TripAdvisor about hotel, restaurants, and so on. And the answers has been partially made by human, partially made by ChatGPT. And the answers were then judged by 20 marketeers and 20 hoteliers, so owner of hotels. And they realized that the ChatGPT answers, they were rated 252% better on average than those written by humans. So it's not like 10% or 20%. It's 2.5 times better, close to 3 times better in terms of response. And the different dimension they were used to do that was correctness. Is it really true or not? Are you going to correct the fault that you did? Do you facilitate in order to find a solution? Do you excuse yourself? You get a warning through the company. And when you answer to me, are you credible? Can I believe you? Right? So those different dimensions show you that ChatGPT and I would say LLMs in general, and today's AI in general, today's AI based on LLMs are more than just capable of making nice words. They're also able to some kind of, and we start to discover that only today, thinking, reasoning, that makes them more credible when it's read by human. So think about yourself. What is then left to humans? And well, I think that humans are good at what? Showing empathy. Being creative, of course, you need to practice a little bit, if possible, from the young age. Provide top-notch services when you're motivated, and identify yourself with your customers. This is where humans are very good at, and this is where 20 to 25 years of human experience has brought them at some point. What they are very bad at is, on one side, perform repetitive tasks. Now, I know that the whole industry of the contact center was based on the theory of Frederick Taylor, a guy from the 19th century, that basically said, if you take anybody, you make them make repetitive tasks every day, at some point, they will make them better, they will make them faster. It's true, but it's still boring, right? And can I remind you that in the next people you need to get into your contact centers are millennials. Millennials, they want to save the planet, the whales, and the dolphins. There is no way that you're going to get these guys to make dumb repetitive tasks. So performing repetitive tasks, they're bad at that. Working in multitasking, bad at it. Remember, even if you think you can do it, basically you can do one task at a time, maybe two, and from the third one, you start losing in productivity and quality. Be efficient 24/7. That's quite simple to understand. And of course, acting against your belief or your culture is also very difficult for humans, right? So if you say humans are good at something, humans are bad at something, where should we use them? Well, this is my conclusion. If you have written text, written information that you basically need to be handled by somebody, let's not forget that there is on one side somebody which is using a piece of equipment that was invented in the 1868. So that's the keyboard for the type machine, adapted in the 1950s for the computer, in order to get one feeling of a guy through text, and from the text to another guy, which is a girl, which is answering also through the keyboard. It's what a waste of time. Machine can do that much better. And I think that in 18 to 24 months, they will do much better than humans, and they will be also much more accepted by the customer on the other side. But hey, humans are very good at showing empathy and doing a lot of stuff. So get the guys, if it's needed, instead of hiding your telephone number somewhere on the page 997 of your website, put it there. Put it there, available for people to talk to you. Or once you've had a number of digital exchange through an AI bot, well, get it then to say, hey, would you like to speak to one of my colleagues? Because I feel that it would be better if you speak to my colleague to get answers to that. So I believe that in 18 to 24 months, 95% of all your customer requests on digital media, including chat, email, social media, and so on, will be answered by bot in a better way than by humans. And at the same time, also, I think that within 8 to 10 years from now, I think the rest of the voice might also be answered by bot. But I would say for all the cases which are sensitive, which requires human intervention, definitely the humans are still the best solution. Okay.
Look, we have a question from the Ishishun's. I'll just display it. So the question is, what strategy should be implemented to get closer to a user persona, and how can it be executed to anticipate user behavior in the context of AI?
Very good question from Younes.
Yes.
Look, it's it's difficult to answer because definitely, I mean, the best strategy is to identify from your user persona. The principle of touch point is still there. I'm not going to go too much into a whole marketing courses, but there are definitely touch points where, for example, speed is more important than getting 15 pages. So you could say, okay, if you have followed, and maybe Andrew, you can indicate the Eisenhower matrix or a previous webinar. The Eisenhower matrix tells you if it's important and if it is requires speed. Definitely, it could be like humans assisted by AI. Okay, so humans which are augmented by AI. If it's not so important, requires speed, could be AI alone with some supervision of humans. So this is where you could say, okay, so at some point humans, but with augmented by AI. That means just like we've seen 14% more chat per hour. I think that we are working now, and this is I'm afraid we might have a few competitors there, but we are working now on an AI bot which is listening to the conversation with an agent and making like very strong suggestions to manage objections, to manage like a number of things that happen to a conversation where sometimes a junior agent might not think of. So the idea is that augment humans with AI if it's urgent and if it's important, then give your confidence to AI supervised by humans if it is basically it requires speed with not so much importance, and for all the rest leave it to AI. Anything which is not important, leave it to AI. You will see it will perform it well. And I think also what's going to happen, I think that in the human interface that you're using, the case are going to get more and more complicated, and that is the important thing. What do you want? If there is something critical for one of your customers in one of the touch points, and that means that at that point AI has not been able to answer and it requires a human intervention, the faster that you identify that it is that requires human intervention, the better it will be. Do not wait that the social media fire has started and that people are complaining, because I see this all the time. People are trying to answer to me with standard forms. When I start shouting about them on the social media, then they say, hey, could we talk over the phone? Well, if you would have done that originally by detecting that for me, it was critical to answer to me via the phone and to show some empathy. Of course, the social media will not be, it would actually be the other way around. I will go on social media, I will praise them. I will basically pray for them, saying that these guys are crazy. They understand that when I want to talk to somebody, and then they put me behind a phone. Okay, so this is where look at speed and importance in order to define the right strategy. Hope I answered your question, Younes. Let me give you a few examples because I see the time is running. We're close to 30 minutes now. This is one of our customers called AgoU. So AgoU is actually a marketplace to book movers in the USA. You know that in the USA, not everybody is conscious of that. Maybe if some American people are there, let's say you live in Washington and you need to start working in Baltimore or in Chicago. In the USA, it's very comfortable. You say to the new employers that's going to you, hey, do you offer me a moving package? Yes, I do. So you can simply go there. You say, I'm moving from this place to another. And then you have a number of movers which are basically making you proposals. And AgoU is a very advanced company, by the way. They also have a very incredible mobile app where you can simply film your site. You basically film inside your home and you say, look, this is what I need to move. And with the movie, they can basically define how many boxes you need, what has to be moved, where does it need to be put it, and things. So you simply move. In other words, you simply film your home and you go away, and then you arrive at your new home, and everything is exactly at the place where you left it. Right? So it's a very advanced platform to share different pricing, different proposals from movers. And what they wanted to have, the problem is that it's a 3-step. So you enter your moving detail, where you're going, and at what time. Okay, step number 1. Step number 2, you need to say who you are. And step number 3, you need to try to define your budget, things like that. They had a lot of abandon. This was the problem of Agoyu, is that a lot of people were filling in step number 1, step number 2, they never filled step number 3. And we said they basically came to us and said, can we send, because this is purely outbound, assisting the sales, can we send highly personalized SMSs to these guys to make sure that they come back to the website in order to complete the 3-step project, and then to publish eventually then, of course, the whole thing on the different movers that can make a proposal. And we did that. And the approach was this is very quickly a scenario building approach. So what we said, look, when we have a customer abandoned, we gather data about what they gave us in terms of data. We look in the CRM, and then we make some scenarios in the system. And we start the SMS tracking process where within 5 minutes, they say, hey, it's a pity you're not coming back to our very nice marketplace, because we have 2 new movers that came on board that are exactly the ones that you need to make your move. Okay, then I'm going to go back. What are the results? It's very simple. So you can see there 2 examples of customized SMSs that have been sent to the people there. And the whole idea is that they got 28% more returning visitor. Okay, so people coming back in order to finish the process to get their moving published. They get 10% increase in lead conversion rate. That's 10% more business thanks to that specific customized SMS. And they get 23% less effort into human intervention. So that basically means that you're making money without doing anything more than what you do already, but you're trying to send information which is talking to people, which is basically explaining them how it works, right? That's another company, Arc Relocation. It's a relocation company, and that's more for like a bot. So relocation is mean I'm not only moving you, but I'm able to get, so for example, so Arc Relocation is something that is hired by employers who says, Mr. Employee, I'm moving you from San Francisco to Seattle, and I'm going to handle everything. I'm going to handle your cable subscription, your electric subscriptions. You can even look, there is even somebody that says, can you help me find a school for my children? Of course. So Arc Relocation has specific people which are able to help you there. So what we've done in the bot, we try to be very custom into the question that you might ask. You can ask nearly anything. They increase the conversion rate. They basically reduce the human effort also by 24%, and they also increase the NPS score in the system. Okay, so this is where a customized bot taking care into what were the top 3 questions of today, also being able to create reports. So the employers wanted to know what are the main questions that the employees are asking. It's more about school, it's more about the car, it's more about the plane tickets, whatever. So they want to understand that, and that's what we did for them. So look, what I'm going to do, let's get out of this. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you quickly how those kind of things are happening inside Dialogue AI. So I'm going to share to you. You tell me when you see this. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's okay.
Wonderful. So I'm simply going to log into Dialogue AI, and I'm going to show you how so quickly and simple way you can basically activate this. So this is just when I'm logged in, I come into my dashboard. There I can see how many chat. Of course, this is my demo system, so I didn't have so many chat this month, how many queries, how many total chat, and so on and so forth. This is a simple dashboard that allows you to understand where are you. By the way, the thing is available in different languages, and I'm logged into Nixxis in there. Then you need to build your chatbot. What we have done here, we've created a very simple prompt. If you don't know what is a prompt, look at prompt like instructions that you're giving to your bots to say, who am I? What should I do? Right? Like you give basically to your junior agents, which are coming through the system. A junior agents, first day, second day, first week, first month, you try to give them a number of instructions. Here you have 4,000 words as instructions to the bot. We've used only 467 words. And we've created, we had to simulate something. We have created here a prompt for a KFC agent. So let's say you are a sales agent at KFC, a little bit like the girl in the Philippines. And so we give you a bit of basic information about KFC. We give you also the instruction on how to handle customer request and question. If I go deeper, we give you what are the different ways to orders and the way to handle that. What are the different deals available, the combos and so on. what are the menu information that you need to know, and that's about it. So it's quite simple. It's a very limited prompt that we're giving to the bot. We save the prompt. Look at this. So behind this, we have our own chatbot, which is LLM AI based, and it's simply getting instruction on what it should do in 467 words. If you want to complete this, you go to the second tab, and there you're able to upload any document you want. We didn't do that for the demo, but for example, you can have like your whatever, sales conditions, accounting, arguments, whatever you have which is specific. It could be XML, PDF, text, CSV, XLSX, blah, blah, blah. And you upload it to the system, and the system is simply going to, it has already, of course, the intelligence of the LLM, but it's going to modify that intelligence based on your instructions. And that is basically what is called RAG. Okay, so we're going to augment what he knows thanks through this kind of mechanism. It can be documents. You can also, on the third tab, start uploading prompts, start uploading URLs, links to websites, which can be internal, external, could be a SharePoint knowledge base, could be whatever kind of knowledge base you have available, where you're going to give them instruction, the latest available instructions about, for example, delivery time. Your delivery time is moving nearly every day, and you want the stuff to go through those information before giving an answer to the customer. You'll put it there, okay? So basically, you have an intelligent agent which has been prompted. It has instruction, it has documents that he can read, and it also has URLs where he can definitely get the rest of the integration. What are you going to do then? Well, it's very simple. In this case, the chat itself, we could start it. I'm gonna start that later. I also have the possibility to integrate it somewhere. So it's Assistant KFC, and that's the name. We can deliver you directly the JavaScript code that you can integrate into your website to get the chatbot there. And you can decide, of course, to customize it, both the name, the first sentence is going to ask you, and things like that. If you say, no, it shouldn't be bonjour, but it should be something else, you're basically going to say, hello, hello, how can I help you today? Okay, so because you can start in English, but the nice thing about LLMs is that it understands any language. So if we go back here and we start a chat session, he's going to ask me, of course, how can I help you today? You're going to say, I am hungry because I want to have fried chicken, of course. So, okay. He's now, of course, he's a KFC agent. He's going to say, do you want a salad? No. Are you looking to place an order with KFC? Let's try to be a bit no with McDonald's, because we are a bit challenging. Oh, maybe I don't think he will like me. Oh, I apologize, but I'm an assistant for KFC. I can provide information, assist you with any questions you have. Okay, but no fried chicken. I don't want fried chicken and I'm at KFC. Really dumb, but let's ask it. I'm sure they have customers like that enter KFC that don't want to eat fried chicken. No problem. KFC offers a variety of many options besides fried chicken. We have burgers, rice dishes, pasta salad. I can see that we have people from all over the world. So in Arabic, please. But I'm not fluent in Arabic at all. So if anybody can tell us if this is the right way to translate this. Okay, so Younes, can you read this? It basically is giving me the same answer in Arabic. Okay, it should be like that. In Spanish, that goes a bit better for me.
So basically, you can ask anything in any language, so it will translate the sentences.
This is the strength, of course, of LLMs, is that basically they can talk any of the language available on the internet, because this is how they've been trained. An LLM, to make it shortly, is basically a tool, and this is why it's costing so much. It went through 7 to 10% of the internet content, mostly Anglo-Saxon. It learned the languages. It learned how the languages are organized through matrix of vectors, to not going too deep. And basically you can enter the LLM, of course, through text like here. You can also get out of the LLM through text like here, but you can also enter into the matrix. We call it, of course, encoding and decoding with voice. So we also have an LLM that we're using based on Whisper into our Nixxis contact suite, where you can simply put in the recordings. It says, I want transcription, I want summaries, I want sentiment, I want whatever is happening during that conversation, I want to know about it, and you can do that, right? So let's try it. I want to order. Just quickly, and then I'm going to stop it there. Please provide this information. Name, phone number, and address. So I'm going to do it the other way around. So I'm going to write, so I'm going to start with the phone number, 06214567. I'm going to give the address, which is like 22 Baker Street, New York. Okay, and my name is Luke Jacobs. Now look what he has done, and I'm going to stop there. He has been able to create a URL which is specific to me with my order for KFC Vietnam order, and then he has been able to take my name, which is at the end, put it at the beginning like it was asked, name, phone number, and address. Take my phone number, put there in the middle, and then my address, 22 Baker Street, New York, is just after that. Just to make you understand that this thing is not really dumb, is even far from being dumb. He's able to put things together, create a URL, make it available for me. I'm clicking on it. I'm able to basically give an order to my KFC. In case you guys want to try this, we have demo accounts available. Of course, you're getting access to something similar to that, but it's the same logic that we're using to create those custom-based SMSs, to create also conversational assistants for the agents, and further than that, then we have an evolved version which is only working on voice, able to do conversational analytics. That's what we're doing today, and that's basically where I wanted to take you through this webinar.
We have an observation of Younes. There are no mistakes in terms of spelling or formulation about the Arabic messages that we received. So perfect.
Inshallah. Thank you very much.
It shows the strength of the tool. I had the question myself about the data. For example, if you put like two documents, document A with a certain information, document B with the opposite information, how will the tool process these two informations together with the question of a customer, for example?
Yes, when you put data which can be conflictual, which is often the case because things might change every day, every week, every month, it's important also with that data to put a validity date. So the system will look first at the validity of the document, will take the latest one. And my advice to you to avoid these kind of things, because that can happen, is not to do it through a document, but through a knowledge base. Because normally in the knowledge base, the information that is important for the bot is much better organized. And it's also done in a way that if an article is contradicting another article, the thing is, it's easy to find knowledge base that which one is true, which one is not true. But of course, let's not forget, it's a good question. It's bullshit in, bullshit out. If you don't give the right information to the guy, exactly like your trainee and that happens every day in the contact center, people are giving the wrong information. If the product manager about a product doesn't train well the agent have to answer the customer's question, this is what you get, right? So try to be very careful. And this is where you have to be very careful. It's not the garbage. It's not put everything in. Think about the information. Think also, by the way, to anonymize it. So we do it also in a way at Nixxis where we don't want to have personal information. We are GDPR compliant, so that means no personal information should touch the AI, the LLMs. And so, and also in case you have specific ways to say hello, goodbye, things like that, these are also what I think which are related to your brand. You should also give instruction about that to the prompt. So the whole idea there is that you try the AI internally, you make it available to a few people over the internet to see what are the chats that they're having, and then you need, it's not full automatic. You have somebody that goes through the chat and that realizes this is good, this is bad. If you see a bad answer from the bot, correct the bot. Go back to the bot in the prompt that says, you said that when it should have sent that. Or the information which is there is outdated, please relearn on the base of a new document. So it's not something you can get very productive, but you still need, I would say, an AI engineer to be able to pilot the stuff.
Okay, understood. So we are nearly in the timing of the webinar. Is there any other questions in the comment section? I don't see any. I just have another question myself about this very interesting tool. When you put, for example, the URL of a website, Does it mean that it is connected to internet? Does this tool is connected to internet?
You can connect it to internet, or you can simply connect it to an internal website. It doesn't have to be internet. You can connect it to the internet, but the idea is that you use URLs also for internal SharePoints, for example, right? So you don't have to, you can go on the internet, but the whole idea is that it has knowledge up to September 21. Anything you want to get between September 21 and today, you directing it to the right source of information. And if it doesn't have the right source of information, it should tell you.
We have an observation of Ines again. What could be intelligent is to have the AI agent formulate JSON responses. From there, the agent could perform actions on the system, such as adding an order, scheduling the appointments, and so on.
Yes. This is definitely a capability that we're adding in the system. So behind the LLM that you see, we are also adding more platform in front and behind it to make sure, for example, that some of its answers are actionable, right? So, for example, when you at some point require the escalation to an agent, it's not JSON, but it's something similar than that. It's basically getting an exit saying that I can't answer anymore, please give me an agent. And then it's basically the customer is then pushed to Nixxis Contact Suite, which is our contact center solution, in order to have an agent available from the first queue, where it should be allocated. So yes, I fully agree. So the idea is that LLMs is not the gold mine. It's quite incredible what it does, but it has to be completed by intelligent system outside of the LLM to make it actionable.
Well, I don't see any other questions. Well, guys, thank you very much for your presence, for your participation to Younes. If you want to see more information about Nixxis, about our solutions, about our services, and also about this very brilliant tool that Luc just showed, you can contact us by phone or even by email. And if you want, you can also subscribe to our LinkedIn and YouTube accounts to see more information, more news about it. And yeah, I think that's it for this webinar. Stay tuned for the upcoming webinars. I think there will be more webinars in the future, maybe one in August. I don't know if it will be in French or English, but also in September maybe. So stay tuned for the upcoming webinars. And thank you very much again for your very participation and presence.
Thank you. Bye-bye.